Okay.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Focus on Liberia. This is Debate Saturday. We are debating on who should lead Montserrado County in the ensuing senatorial elections slated for December 2020. For Team Dillon, that is those who think that Dillon is the best candidate and should lead, we have Saki Golafale and Ibrahim Dode. For those who think that Mr. Thomas Fallah should lead Montserrado or he's the better candidate, we have Harry Atto Connier and Gamode Clinton. Gentlemen, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. To start with, let's go around the room and start with the Thomas Fallah team. Please just briefly introduce yourself. And if you have any party affiliation, please mention that.
Okay. I keep the ball rolling. My name is, like you said, Harry Atto Connier. Of course, I'm a Liberian. I currently reside here in the United States of America. I run a private management consultancy firm as an organizational development consultant. I also work in financial services, specifically with a multinational financial banking institution here in the US. I'm a stalwart of the indomitable grassroots, mass-based ruling Congress for Democratic Change. And I'm also the founding chairman of the CDC USA Arizona chapter. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited that you've given us this opportunity to talk about the progress, transformation, and ongoing development of our country. So thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Let's go to the next member of the team, Fallah team. And if your party affiliation, tell us who you supported in the election, just so that our viewers know.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Gamode Clinton. I am an attorney at law. I'm a member of the Coalition for Democratic Change, and I support Thomas P. Fallah for the senatorial seat for Montserrado County.
Thank you. And please adjust your camera or you move back small so we can see all of you. You're part of all right. Okay. Now let's go to Team Dillon, and we start with Ibrahim. Your name,
thank you. It's a pleasure being here, and it's a pleasure making my debut on your show. I'm Ibrahim Dode. Of course, I supported the CDC during the 2017 elections, and I am project manager, project consultant, and I live in the state of Alabama. I'm married to a charming wife and a beautiful 3 kids, all girls. And so I'm happy to be here, to be part of the platform and discuss the issue concerning our country, and to see how I can be able to explain to Liberians about Darius Dillon. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you, and welcome for the first time on Focus on Liberia, both Harry and Ibrahim, also Gamode. Dr. Golafale.
Yeah, Mr. Ja, thank you. It's a pleasure to be on this show, to have a conversation like this with fellow Liberians. And my name is Saki Golafale. Currently, I'm an assistant professor of chemistry, but I'm a Liberian, a patriotic Liberian, someone who loves Liberia, and I have my roots out there, and I'm engaged into the politics of today. So I'm affiliated with the United Party, and previously I was with the Liberia Action Party, and when we merged with UP, by default, I had to be a member. And since then, I've been a member of the United Party, pushing the agenda of UP. And in these elections that are coming, I support the indomitable, undefeatable Senator Ibrahim Darius Dillon. So thank you. It's a pleasure. I look forward to a fruitful conversation here this evening.
The man has been defeated 2 times.
Thank you so much. For the debate tonight, we're going for each side. Anytime we ask a question, each side you have 4 minutes to respond. You can use the 4 minutes. One person can use all 4 minutes, or you can share the 4 minutes between the 2 teammates. It could be 2 minutes each. It could be 1 minute, 3 minutes, whatever you decide. But we want to strictly observe the time. I'll be keeping the time, And so you go straight to the point so that we avoid, calling time on you, which to some people will be okay, because most of us, when we're doing the debate, we are very easy to find somebody cheating. So we want to do the best we can tonight. So please cooperate. We want to call on all our viewers to cooperate as well. You can share your team, please. No interruptions or no bad languages or kind of pointing, saying stuff to people that may kind of trigger a domino effect. We want to do the best we can. So from a coin toss, Team Dillon will go first. So the first question is, what qualifies your candidate for the job?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ja, and it's a pleasure to be here and talking about the Dillon's doctrine. That's what we'll be preaching here this evening. And the question of what qualifies Dillon is constitutionally, Senator Dillon is qualified to run as a senator, and he's running for re-election. But one of the things that have been missing, a lot of things have been missing in our democracy. One of them is a lot of times people do not understand their call duty as citizens. And we believe that the 1 year Senator Dillon has been in the Senate, he has brought some sense to the Senate. He has brought many of the Senate what it means to be a senator, that he understands his call duty as a senator, as enshrined in the Constitution. That has been missing for over 100 years. We've not seen someone who is selfless like Senator Dillon. For me, in the last election, senatorial election, I did not support Mr. Dillon. But I support Mr. Dillon because I have seen him over the 1 year. He has shown to the people of Montserrado and Liberia as a whole, and Liberia all across, that he has the character, the quality that requires for a senator. And in the law-making body of the Liberian legislature, we have not found someone who stands on the principles of democracy, who wants to promote democratic principles, who is selfless. These qualities have been missing for long. Unlike our opponent, in the case of Mr. Fallah, he's been in the Senate, in the legislature for almost 15 years. He has nothing to show that proves that he has the quality to match up with Senator Dillon. The Liberian people know very well the way Dillon, the way Fallah, they know that both of them who possess the qualities to be the senator. The man has spent 15 years in the Senate, in the legislature, as a representative for his district, compared to a man who has spent just 1 year. See some of the things he has brought: the issue of integrity, the issue of transparency, accountability. He's pushing the agenda so that the Senate or the Liberian legislature can be seen as a body that Liberians respect, not a body that takes bribes. That the case of the 15 years of Representative Fallah has been marked by bribery and all those things, signing concession agreements, and they are blaming other people right in the House. So Senator Dillon possessed the qualities that the Liberian Constitution prescribed for someone to lead the Senate. That is why I, Saki Golafale, along with a lot of Liberians, support Senator Dillon. And we not only support him, but a Dillon type, a Dillon kind of leader is what we need. Someone who's selfless, someone who's productive, someone who has practical knowledge to carry on the agenda in his core duty as a senator.
Mr. Saki, you went 3 minutes. So you want to continue, or you want to give
I turn over to my colleague to complete.
All right.
Well,
hold on, before you start, Abraham. I just want you yourself to manage your time. I don't want to interrupt anybody. So you have 4 minutes. It could either be 2 minutes each, or 1, 3, or whatever you decide. So go ahead, Abraham. 1 more minute. Okay.
Well, like my colleagues said, Liberia's historical development, Liberia development, right? Historical pains of development has been due, in large part to the the level of legislator that we elect at the national legislature. And so I know it is a strange phenomenon to have a candidate who is an embodiment or representation of the people, who has committed himself to presenting to being in the interest of the people and being a representative of the quality that it should be in a representative or a senator. So Honorable Darius Dillon, like he said, is an embodiment of that. He represents that. Since he's been in the Senate for the past 1 year, we've all seen what he has done, what he has committed himself to: integrity, fighting corruption, and all of that. So for us, we are seeing all of those in the diaspora in Liberia should see Honorable Dillon as a candidate for the Senate for the Senate seat on December 8th.
Thank you. And if you are not speaking, if noise in the background, you can always mute your phone. Let's go to Team Fallah. What qualifies Thomas Fallah for the job of Senator for Montserrado County?
My colleague, with the permission of my colleague, I would like to begin to introduce the man, Thomas Fallah. Thomas Fallah is a three-time lawmaker for District Number 5 for 3 consecutive times. The people of District 5 have reposed their confidence in a man who has driven their interests before the national legislature. Mr. Fallah has proven leadership not just amongst his people, but within the national legislature. That's why his colleagues for a number of years have trusted him to lead the powerful Ways, Means, and Finance Committee within the national legislature. He's a leader. He's proven that time and time again by the agenda he's driven through the national legislature, by a number of bills that he's supported, that he sponsored and co-sponsored over the years through the national legislature. Unlike the Dillon, and I like how my good friend Saki just exposed the Dillon doctrine, which is nothing more than what you call Pied Piper. It's a bunch of fake promises, is a bunch of empty promises, a lot of talk. If you listen to my colleague, he talked about the embodiment of what it means to be a lawmaker. But I'll tell you, as we go forward on this, while we will be giving specifics, we'll be talking about specific things that Thomas Fallah has done, both in the national legislature and within the district. Our colleagues on the other side will do exactly as Dode and Saki has done tonight. They will be very general. They will talk a lot, but they will point to no specific. They will say Dillon has done so much in the national legislature, but they will offer no evidence of what he's done tonight, unlike what we will be offering for Thomas Fallah for what he's done. For 3 consecutive times that the people of District 5 has continued to vote in, and they've said that this is our man. Now the people of Montserrado are rallying to support him to the larger platform because of what he's done at the district level. Harry.
2 minutes. Harry.
How much time we have?
2 more minutes.
Okay, great. Thanks for this opportunity. Let me begin by saying Thomas brings, like Gamo did, excited, nearly 15 years of legislative experience to this job. Okay, 15 years of committed and dedicated service to economic empowerment, to education freedom, educational freedoms, to social transformation, of Liberians in and out of his district. In addition to his role, his judicial responsibility as a lawmaker, so whether it is lawmaking, representation, and oversight, Thomas has gone beyond those responsibilities, transforming lives in the community, in social programs, right? Investing in like I said, educational empowerment. So as we go through the discussion, we'll be able to give you specificities as to individual achievements and contribution of Thomas Fallah. Beyond that, Thomas Fallah believes in the ruling party, progressive pro-poor agenda for the sustained transformation of the country. Unlike Dillon, who is a national distraction, to the country. Our colleague was talking about, about being selfless. Throughout the discussion, we're going to ask, specific questions about, how Dillon got, his scholarship, to come to America to go to school. We will talk about, Dillon's relationship, with one of the most, corrupt, regime, and then the son of the former president of Liberia. So all of these vices and negatives, they take away Dillon's, ability and qualification to serve and perform on the job, and it gives Thomas Fallah a better opportunity to provide, better leadership in the legislature. We will prove logically and reasonably here, that Dillon lacks the character, Dillon lacks the attitude, he lacks the morality to perform in the legislature.
Thank you. So let's go back on that same question. This time I want the Fallah team to start. Half of what qualifies Fallah this time is, why is your candidate the best fit for the job? And again, we go the same way. 2 minutes, 4 minutes for the two of you, so that you can reinforce the first question we asked. So why is Fallah the best fit for this job?
All right. Let me go ahead and kick the ball.
Yeah, I like Harry. Go ahead.
So in addition to Thomas' achievements, which at some point, his legislative achievement, which at some point we obviously going to talk about, best fit for the job, we want to talk about, his achievements and his contribution outside his judicial responsibility as a lawmaker, right? And 4 minutes from now, our colleagues will come here and give broad and perception as to what they believe, the other candidate, Dillon, has done in the legislature for the last 1 year, has done absolutely nothing. Unlike my candidate, who for nearly 15 years, this guy has, massively contributed to social contract of fulfillment in the district. In terms of economic empowerment, this guy provide job opportunity. Nearly 500 residents in and out of the district have been given employment opportunity, either at his education facility that he's built. He has what we call T5, the Thomas Fallah Institute of Vocational Education, where jobs are being created. At that institution, he provides, opportunity for academic career. So students go there, reasonable, almost nothing to pay. And 30% of the intake, he uses that to provide scholarship opportunity, right? Up to date, Thomas has provided about 2,500 scholarships, nearly 3,500 scholarships to students at different universities and secondary institutions across the country, right? He has provided those opportunities. That's not part of his responsibility. Unlike Dillon on the other side, who had seen in recording, telling the people of his, I'm sorry, oh my God. I'm sorry for the distraction. Dillon on the other side, telling the people of Montserrado that apart from his responsibility in the legislature, he is not responsible, for social welfare program. He's not responsible, for having economic impact in the lives of the people of his district. This is the guy who came publicly, he ran on the agenda of slashing his salary and contributing his salary to the community, contributing it to social programs. So that one Dillon. There is another Dillon who goes to the community and say, I'm not responsible for you, your house is burned, I have absolutely nothing to do to contribute to your well-being. So we have two Dillons. I've come to talk about the Dillon who is not responsible, for the social well-being and economic empowerment of the people, the Dillon who is attempting to fraud his way into national prominence and national leadership, want to use the vulnerability of the Liberian people, misleading the people, that he has something to contribute. And in 1 year has absolutely done nothing in the legislature. He has not been able to make any significant impact. So we have one candidate who have a long list of specific contributions he has made in the legislature and out of the legislature. And we have another candidate where all he says is that I've come here to solve the problems of Liberia. The way to do it is that everybody should cut their salary. Liberia historical problems, of nearly 200 years will be solved as long as we cut our salary. I think that is unfortunate. he lacks the understanding of his role and responsibility as a member of the legislature. And I just believe that is unfair, it's inappropriate to give this guy an opportunity to remain in the Liberian Senate.
Harry, if I may pick up on where Harry said, look,
right,
and
you have less than 30 seconds. Go ahead.
We've already said, you know, talking about Fallah, we've already talked about 15 years of legislative experience that he's going to bring to the Senate. Unlike Dillon is a novice. He's causing a lot of distraction. He's not following the Senate rules. He's inconsistent. This man, on one hand, say he's going to take $65,000 or $6,500 of taxpayer money to donate to victims. On the other hand, he said he's not responsible for that. And this is why we talk about the two Dillons. Exactly which Dillon are these guys trying to market tonight?
Thank you. Thank you. Let's go to the Dillon's team. Why is your candidate the best fit for the job? Why is he better than Fallah?
If you want me to start, you can go ahead.
You go ahead. Just do the 2 minutes.
Yeah,
now. Do 2 minutes. Go ahead.
So how many minutes do we have?
4 minutes in total. Do 2.
Yeah. So unfortunately, my colleagues spend a lot of time wasting instead of telling our listeners and viewers what their candidate bring. You know, 15 years in the legislature. They only boast and talk about Dillon, that Dillon is unfit. Their only issue of distraction is that when Dillon stands and talk about accountability, for example, the 25 million, the fiasco mop-up exercise, that's what my colleagues call distraction. When Honorable Dillon talks about fiscal discipline, where the budget that is being appropriated for specific things should be justified, my colleagues call that distraction. When Honorable Dillon called on the president to stand up and make sure that the Constitution is respected. In the case of Nambudiki, he's still holding his position as the anti-corruption chair. A man of that character, when Dillon talks about it, my colleagues call that distraction. When Honorable Dillon called on the president to lead, to have some courage to lead in this time of the pandemic, my colleagues call that distraction. That's the kind of Liberia these people see, that when you stand up for something, if you don't bow down to the images, the image that say, like the George Weah statue in what the place name, or Doe community, they say you are not, or you are a distraction, you do not make any contribution to the Senate. Look, gentlemen, Darius Dillon, I take 2 cardinal virtues of Plato, the Greek philosopher: wisdom and courage. Dillon has the wisdom, he has the experience. He's been in government. He knows what it means by check and balance. He's challenged the legislature to cut their salaries. My colleagues call that distraction, knowing very well that when you look at the economic trend right now in Liberia, we're going into recession. The economists will tell us better. And there's a need to have some fiscal discipline, to appropriate money to where they're most needed, especially for the vulnerable. Legislature cannot continue to make over $10,000 US in the midst of abject poverty. When Honorable Dillon talks about that, my colleague Harry and Clinton call that distraction. Why? Fallah sits mute. He's been a bobo all along, involved in the corruption. He's held a lot of committees. He's been on a lot of committees that have been involved in concession signing contracts. Today, they don't take responsibility. I heard my colleague talking about responsibility. They don't take responsibility of the wasted resources over 15 years of Fallah being in a legislature. But they call, when Dillon talked about it, they call it distraction. It's unfortunate. But 2 things, I repeat: cardinal virtues, wisdom, and the courage to lead is what Dillon possess, unlike our people on the other side of the political spectrum. I will turn it over to my colleague to continue.
How many minutes I got left?
30 seconds.
Oh my God. All right. So listen, let me first let me draw a sharp contrast, right? I heard my colleagues talking about Dillon has done absolutely nothing. He's just a distraction. Dillon is the first legislator or the senator who refused a sitting fee at Hamilton Hotel and said that Thomas Fallah, the distance where he lived in Montserrado, and going to a legislative retreat, it was that money should have been used for the common Liberian people instead of taking a certain fee or being paid or pay for a hotel bill while he lives in Montserrado. So Dillon was the first legislator.
And he even refused that
a certain fee.
Abolished.
A certain fee. That's integrity, right? The second thing is that he was the first legislator that also published his asset in 5 dailies. 5 daily newspapers, 5 dailies, as per the law, as per the law. So
Abraham,
if they're talking about
Abraham, your time is up.
All right.
So please, gentlemen, I want to be fair. Please observe that you have 2 minutes. We have 4 minutes as a team. So if your teammate use 3 minutes, you have just 1 minute. So I'll go back to the Dillon's team now to pick up where you left from. And this time we want to talk about accomplishments, especially both Dillon and Fallah have been in the legislature. So we want to talk about accomplishments. So let's start with the Dillon's team. Again, you have 4 minutes, 2 each, or whatever way you want to portion it. Who go first?
Okay.
Abraham, do that.
I'll go first. Then I'll go first.
Accomplishment, go.
Okay. Honorable Dillon, accomplishment in the Senate, in the legislature, has been one of integrity, right? Dillon first of all, let's put in the context. The responsibility of a legislator is 3 cardinal functions spelled out in the Constitution: lawmaking, representation, and oversight. And Dillon has achieved 3 of those cardinal fundamental responsibilities as laid out in the Constitution. Representation. Dillon has represented the Liberian people very well on all of the issues of integrity, corruption, good governance, social contractuary, and all of the issues, health, education, and all of that. He has spoken to all of the issues and has written the national legislature, informing them on all of those cardinal issues that confront and affect the Liberian people on a daily basis. Lawmaking. He has prepared a bill seeking for the reduction of the salary of legislator in the Liberian legislature. That is because we know, if you even check in the current budget, right? Healthcare, look at healthcare budget, look at education, look at security, right? Look at all of the issues in the national budget. We are, as a country, we are not even investing, we're not even doing any capital investment. Because why? People like Fallah, Thomas Fallah, who served on the Ways and Means Committee, gave themselves more money at the national legislature, leaving the Liberian people with absolutely nothing. So as a result of that, Honorable Dillon has called for a reduction in the salary of legislature across the flow, so that the rest of the money can go into healthcare, education, social responsibilities, and other issues that confront the Liberian people, right? So lawmaking, of course. So we are saying, listen, Honorable Dillon has demonstrated that Liberia cannot continue to live in the past. Liberia must now graduate to the future. There are countries around us that continue to perform, Ghana, other countries. So we as a country, we must start from the legislature, because it is the legislature that can set the footprint, the blueprint for good governance, to hold the president accountable, to hold the executive accountable in terms of what they put in the budget, or what they do as a government. So Dillon has demonstrated consistently, in those areas as a legislature just in the 1 year period. So we are saying Dillon, it brings a lot to the table. He's a game changer going forward. I will turn it over to
So in just to continue, take from my colleague, someone will say that it is unfair to compare Dillon with Representative Fallah because they both have served, or Dillon has served 1 year, Representative Fallah has served in a representative for 15 years. The CDC people say there has been wasted 12 years of early regime. The legislature being the first branch of government where check and balance, they need to make sure that the government seek the interests of the people. But Honorable Fallah has been there. He's not been there for the people, he's been for himself. He's not a selfless person. He's only been seeking his own interests. He connived with everyone. He took, when Asilomita or the concession due were passed, he took the bribe of a pickup. He took a pickup as a bribe, which Honorable Dillon would never do. Dillon's presence in the Senate brings light on many things that Liberians have not seen for so many years. That's an achievement. He's representing the people. He's informing the people what the Senate is all about. It's not just about taking big checks, 15,000 checks a month, as Representative Fallah and his people have been doing for the people to be beggars. Like what the finance minister think that the people should be beggars so that the lawmakers should take 10 to 15,000. So Honorable Dillon brings substance to the legislature that everyone else, including Fallah, the whole CDC lack.
Saki, your time is up. Again, let's be mindful of the time. People are complaining, say the time, 2 minutes too short, but I think that's
allow me to begin this one, okay?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of time. For 2 minutes, a lot of time. If you go straight to the point, and we're going to come to an area where you can attack the other candidate. But this first part is bring out more of your candidate. Let's hear that. So let's go to Team Fallah for the accomplishment, especially legislative accomplishment of Thomas Fallah.
Look, I told our viewers when we began the show that our opponents will do nothing but blabber on the show. When you ask them about Dillon's accomplishment, it's going to be nothing but they will talk but point to no specific. And these discussions, Mr. Moderator, I urge you to please take note of this. This discussion must be evidence-driven. I saw my colleague, or heard my colleague just make allegations of bribery and taking pickup. You know, I mean, you know, these things must be backed by evidence. It's wanting to come here, and this is the typical Dillon style that have won him prominent, is to come and make all these very empty assertions with no evidence, with no, it's pretty much empty, you know, hoping to win the sympathy, and exactly what his proteges are doing on tonight. They're making allegations that have absolutely no basis. You have no evidence of Thomas Fallah collecting pickup to pass any concession. You know, but let me go to the specific. You know, exactly what our colleagues should be doing, they're not doing. You know, look, I will start with the WASH Commission because I work at the National WASH Commission. Prior to Madam Shirley, we've not had a single agency to regulate water, sanitation, and hygiene in our country. And so because of Thomas Fallah, we do now have a delegated agency of government, the National Water, Sanitation, Hygiene Commission, that coordinates, that monitors water, sanitation, and hygiene. So pretty much all the city corporations, you know, collection of waste and setting water standards, sanitation standard, all that is because of Thomas Fallah, who co-sponsored the bill along with the late Honorable Mona Tennant. We also do know that as a member of the Maritime Committee, matter of fact, chairman of the Maritime Committee, Thomas Fallah led the passage of the Maritime Authority Act, right? We also know that as a member of the Forestry Committee, that Thomas Fallah, and you can go do your own fact checking, Thomas Fallah supervised the passage of 3 forest management contracts with millions of dollars in investment to our country. We know that the role as chairman of the Ways, Means, and Finance Committee. Mind you, this committee is the only committee in both houses of the National Legislature that there has to be one member from each county because of the importance of that committee. It is constitutionally mandated. So to be the chairman of that committee and for a number of years, it tells you the kind of leader that Thomas Fallah is. It tells you the confidence that his colleagues has in his leadership ability. We also do know that Thomas Fallah sponsored the community rights law in 2006 that was successfully passed by both houses of the National Legislature. We want you to go and do your fact checking. We also know that the bill to create the Pinja Community College, it was passed in 2013 by the House of Representatives, now before the Liberian Senate. that was sponsored by Thomas Fallah. We also do know that Thomas Fallah sponsored the Built and Amend provisions of the Business Corporation Act, specifically Section 5.17 of that Act. We also know that as chairman of the Waste Management Finance Committee, he supervised the passage of 3 national budgets: 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. This is leadership in action. This is what a lawmaker is supposed to be doing, and this is what Thomas Fallah is doing. I like Ato to pick up from there.
10 seconds, Ato.
Is that 2 minutes?
10 seconds.
Look, you're joking, right? I think 1 minute.
Yes.
So let me go. The truth of the matter is that we'll need 2 hours to list the achievements of Thomas Fallah for his 15 years of service in the legislature. Damade was specifically talking about lawmaking. There's also a responsibility for representation and oversight. He intervened and blocked the removal of hundreds of residents from the 72nd barrack. There was issue of relocation. The government that Dillon, was part of, they wanted to remove the folks. He intervened there. He settled many disputes in the committee. I mean, he's been involved into, a lot of representation, oversight, and responsibility. I will have more time to talk about since I just got 10 seconds.
Yes, thank you. And gentlemen, let's be fair. How are we doing with time? What's your response?
I don't want to keep the time. The time is just insufficient.
Right. Do you think the 2 minutes for each of you is enough? Because
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
All right. Okay. We want you to bring your candidate out as much as possible. So viewers, if you are just joining us, we are having a debate. Thomas Fallah versus Darius Dillon in the ensuing senatorial elections for Montserrado County. And this is a prelude to bringing both candidates on focus on Liberia for a debate. So we have the surrogates here, or the supporters, who are just telling us a little bit about their candidates, their accomplishments, their achievement, and why they think that the citizens of Montserrado County should give them that re-election or that double promotion in this case. So for this one, we have talked about what qualifies your candidate, why your candidate is the best fit for the job, and what are his accomplishments. This time, I want Team Fallah to ask, based on those things that we just talked about, I want you to ask Team Dillon one question, and Dillon will ask Team Fallah one question on those things aforementioned. If you have any question for Team Dillon.
Let me go ahead and ask. Look, listen, guys, for God's sake, right? For the sake of the nearly 5 million people in Liberia, can you guys give us 2 tangibles, 2 visible tangibles that Darius Dillon, as a senator of Montserrado County, has done with respect to lawmaking in the national legislature? Please, I underscore the word tangible.
Thank you. We get it.
Yeah. So let me come in. Honorable Dillon has been in the Senate for 1 year. Okay, and he went to the Senate with an agenda. You listen to him. He said he's going to the Senate to disrupt the things, the abnormal things that have been happening in the Senate that have affected the Liberian people for so long. And of course, my colleague Harry and Gamonde are victims. We are all victims of how the likes of Fallah and his have been, kept the people in perpetual poverty while enriching themselves. So Dillon went to the Senate with an agenda, and he's achieving those agendas. For one fact, when Dillon went to the Senate, he declared his asset as a way of showing some degree of transparency and accountability.
In respect to lawmaking.
The next thing, Dillon asked for salary reduction. He individually cut his salary to $5,000 and gave the rest to Montserrado as a protest. Following that, Dillon, just less than a month, drafted. He did not sponsor, like what my colleague said about Fallah sponsor, where someone bring their idea. He didn't create his own idea. He just sponsored it. Dillon sat down based on his conviction that $5,000 is enough for a lawmaker. He proposed a bill to reduce lawmakers' salary and to an extent to government officials that it will save on an annual basis, it will save $4 million that will go into basic social services, services that my colleague Harry and Gamonde will want to go back to Liberia to live instead of spending all their time here to get old. Liberia will prosper if people listen to Dillon, because Honorable Dillon, bill he proposed is just a tip of the iceberg. There's more to come. So that alone, for a senator who's been there for 1 year, what more if he spends 15 years there?
Do I have permission
So
Can we do a rebuttal?
You ask a question, we got to answer the question. How are you going to do a rebuttal?
Interrupting.
You ask a question. You could be interrupting us when you're asking the question.
Let him finish. They got 4 minutes to respond. Okay.
So as part of the function of Dillon, he's performing his function like what a lawmaker should do. So one of his recent bills he proposed will affect many lives. Once it is passed into law, you will see what will happen. And you ask exactly what Dillon has done in terms of lawmaking. That is one. There are a lot of other things Dillon has done in the House in terms of check and balance. When people go for confirmation, Dillon has brought a different kind of spirit to the Senate, that senators are checking that they have to be coming on time, because Dillon takes note of people that are coming on time. He exposes them because they're working for the Liberian people. So those are the things that will make the Senate look serious. And his second agenda, which will unveil in time to come, Dillon has an agenda for the next term. This was a short term to finish. So we cannot, in 1 year, Dillon cannot take the whole Liberia's problem and solve it. But from his exemplary leadership, you've seen for yourself, just one bill he's proposed, you guys are trembling. You say no, people should continue being beggars because lawmakers should take 10 to 15,000. And Dillon is saying no, because the lawmakers, it is in the Constitution that the lawmakers decide their own salaries. So he used that Article 36 to propose to the same lawmakers that, yes, there's a possible that we can reduce our salary to not more than 5,000. My colleague can continue if he has more to add to it.
No, the time is up. So you use this time now and ask the Fallah team your question. And Fallah team, you can use that question segue to do your rebuttal and also answer the question. So go ahead with your question.
Let me go ahead with the question.
Let me go ahead with the question.
Sure.
Yeah.
I want a direct answer. I don't want, a rhetorical answer. I want a direct answer. I want Governor and Arto to tell us, and all of the listening audience to tell us, why hasn't the National Legislature been audited when Thomas Fallah, who has been at the National Legislature for 15 years and been on Ways and Means Committee, why hasn't the National Legislature or the lower house been audited? And that has been the cry. There were two cardinal issues Liberians were opting for: one, salary reduction, and the auditing the National Legislature. Why hasn't he and the Thomas Fallah advocated for the auditing of the National Legislature?
Okay. I'm going to answer the question, but let me just do the rebuttal for 2 minutes and you answer the question, okay? Yeah. So with respect to the rebuttal, Saki response is another way of saying absolutely nothing, right? That Dillon did nothing, okay? Now, it is a documented evidence that the President of the Republic of Liberia, at his inauguration, he declared that he was cutting his salary. It was the first official of government that he was slashing his salary, and he called on members of his government, the 3 branches of government, to do the same and follow suit to also slash the salary. So it was not Dillon. There was absolutely no campaign Dillon started. In 2018, January, Dillon was not a senator. So how did he go to the legislature and cut his salary? It was the president of Liberia who, advised. He did it as an example, and then he
asked for the 1 year.
Can I do a follow-up? Can I do a follow-up? Can I do a follow-up?
1 year.
Can I do a follow-up on question?
Excuse me.
Asked for 1 year
Can I do a follow-up to my question?
I mean, then our time. Judge, our time. When it's done, I will come in.
Yeah. Please,
Okay, go ahead.
please don't interrupt. Let him answer the question that you asked.
Let me end this thing.
So that's one. You're 2 minutes coming, boy. I just going for the
You have
5 seconds.
1 minute, 4
That's
seconds.
one.
So,
Now, the second thing is the bill he said he introduced. That's nonsense, right? It's nonsense. There is already a law that is enacted every 12 months. Every time the legislature is passing a national budget, they are enacting a law that sets the national legislature's salary. So when the law says they set the salary by law, it is a national budget that is enacted by the legislature. It is signed into law by the president of the Republic of Liberia. It becomes law. What Dillon needs to know, right, that Thomas Fallah understands, is to convince your colleagues in the legislature during the budgetary debate and say for this fiscal year, because of the status of the economy, we're going to cut our salary to $5,000 and convince his folks, which he cannot do because he has labeled the entire legislature as corrupt. And how can a single man transform the legislature, right? And so he doesn't even know that. And in addition, the legislature says he's going to make a law. So why if the economy of the country improves? So tomorrow, our national income double, and there's a need to increase the remuneration. He's going to make another law that says they increase the legislature salary. So it shows his inability to understand, what's happening in the legislature, right? You talk about disrupting, activities. To disrupt things in the country, historical, traditional problems in Liberia, is to make laws. It's to make laws that will impact institutional policy. And that's what Thomas has been doing for the last 15 years, is to pass, the forestry reform law that will create jobs, that will generate millions of dollars for national income, that will put our people to work and create, a transformation across the country. You don't go and you disturb, you label everybody as corrupt, and you say you bring the light, and that's the way you disrupt things that happen in the country. That's going to remain over there like he did for the last 1 year. He did absolutely nothing. He disrupted, the development progress, going on, and that's what he's going to do if he's elected senator for the next 9 years. So, Governor, just go ahead. I think you got.
I don't think I have much time, but I wanted to bring clarity. I wanted to first rebut the fact that and that's why I said this discussion must be evidence based. There has to be facts, and our colleagues just throw out things. When you say Dillon gave his salary to Montserrado, what do you mean? I mean, when Montserrado has a leadership, right? The people appointed or elected, right? The people appointed by the president, like the superintendent, those are the leadership of Montserrado. The people elected, those are the leadership of Montserrado. Montserrado has a county government. So to give money to the people of Montserrado means you have to give it to the county government. When you set up your own committee and give them money, and start to build your own re-election campaign, you are not giving money to the people of Montserrado. You're just giving your own social welfare, political campaign, or whatever you're doing. That's what you're doing. So you guys need to stop saying he's giving money to. If I went to Monrovia today and took my salary and called a few of my colleagues and said, manager for the people of Painesville, I'm not giving money to the Painesville people. Unless I give it to the city corporation, I'm not giving money to the city of Painesville. Stop.
Thank you.
When respect to the audit, Thomas Fallah is on the auditor.
Thank you.
You have to even think about the audit the responsibility of GHC. Why are you asking Thomas Fallah?
The guys didn't respond to the question.
Right. Thank you. Hold on. You can unmute yourself, Gamada. So you did not answer the question. So we move on to the question.
I don't know. The guys, can we do a follow-up? Can we do a follow-up?
Hold on. No, there's no follow-up. They did not answer your question. So.
All right.
Yeah, they did not. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, you are just joining us. This is Focus on Liberia. It's Team Fallah versus Team Dillon. And we have discussed so far why each of those candidates is best suited for the job. Now let's go to the area of character.
No, but we didn't get a rebuttal.
And integrity.
Can we say something? The guys
are you the moderator?
They had a rebuttal. They had a rebuttal.
No, they wrap their Connie, you are muted. They wrap their rebuttal in their answer, so they provided no answer. They only did rebuttal. So we are moving on.
Oh.
All right. You have 4 minutes
Well,
to do it, right? If you don't do it, we can't. We got to keep it rolling. We got plenty of things to discuss. This is just
they never provided answers. Well, that's understandable. They will not provide answer anyway. So
okay.
go
Let's
ahead.
go to the issue of character, integrity. Let's do the moral test.
Oh, okay. I like this section already.
Right. So, and that Connie, you are still muted. So this time is Dillon when it comes to the issue of integrity, character, the moral standing. Is Dillon better compared to Fallah?
Which team?
Let's start with the Dillon's team, and the same question will go to the Fallah's team.
Yes, Mr. Ja.
Yes, sir.
You know, one of the Greek philosophers talked about good citizenship. And Dillon, going to the Senate, he has shown to Liberians that he understands his core duty. His duty to perform his duty as a citizen, as a senator, his duty to ensure check and balance, his duty to ensure that the issue of transparency is at the forefront of his legislature agenda. But before I go to those, I know our colleagues spent time, they didn't answer our question because that falls on the issue of integrity and morality. They dodge around the question just to talk a lot of things that are not substantial. My colleague talking about the bill is a nonsense, something that would save 4 million for Liberians to go into basic social service. He call it nonsense. But I'll leave it at that. You know, he's not going to. They're not going to answer the question because the issue of integrity is deeply rooted in audit. All right. So Dillon has not only the integrity, but Dillon is clothed with a God-given ability to represent his people, and the interests of the people come first. Because if you cannot represent your people, you cannot represent Montserrado properly, like how Fallah has been, recklessly representing. He does not even know how many persons are in his district. He does not even know how many businesses contribute to the national covers from his district. He does not even know the number of schools. We have all those things. We know how much that the national budget, when we cut down salaries, how they will contribute to the welfare of people in Thomas Fallah district. So, Honorable Dillon, over the years, all of the places he served, you see his records are clean. You've never heard corruption. You've never heard, you weigh the two people. If Dillon was in the Senate, when Asilo Mita presented pickups, only Thomas Fallah would have taken it, which he did as a bribe after passing a concession agreement. That is an indictment on his character. And he's running for the Senate from the representative with all of those tinted characters over the 12 years that they talk about that Ellen wasted and squandered resources. The guy talking about millions of dollars, things that Fallah did that will contribute to millions of dollars coming. What did they come? How did they affect the common people today? And that's what Darius Dillon stands for. He says that in order for us to make sure that every Liberian feel that the national government is in their interest, we must be accountable to our people. We must lead with integrity. And that is the person, all of the areas that Darius Dillon has said, he has shown that he has subscribed to the issue of integrity, transparency, and leadership.
How many minutes do I have?
Go ahead. Seconds.
Okay. First and foremost, integrity is the distinction between good and bad, wrong, good and evil, right? And right and wrong, right? My brother talks about, the president declare his asset. Before I go to, I quickly put him a point, but he doesn't even know how much was cut from the president's salary. Ask him. He doesn't even know. But he decided to bring it home here, like the president called his salary. We don't even know where the president, how much is the salary that was cut, where does it go? But we do know of how much will come from Dillon's salary, and we do know where it's going. So that is a distinction between
Abraham,
the
just
two.
to add up.
Go ahead, Ibrahim. Amelia Saki, go ahead.
If the president was serious, he should have documented that to present to the legislature,
Right.
so that it could go through the legal process for salary reduction. But he just threw it in the air. These two people do not even know how much the president makes. Dillon decided this has to be documented. Not only the action, but it has to be documented and legally done for salary reduction.
Thank you,
Let them tell us. Let them tell us how much the president makes. Let them tell us how much they have for the president's salary.
Let's go to the Fallah team and the issue of character, integrity.
We are not going to waste our time answering questions about the president. This show is about Fallah. These guys want to be all around the place. We don't have.
Well, you brought in the president. We didn't bring it.
No, the issue was you said that.
Clinton, your 4 minutes starting. Go ahead.
Right. So let me go straight into it. First thing, these guys have a serious lack of understanding of how our governance process is, right? The first thing, they're an agency of government that is responsible for auditing, right? The legislature works by a voting process. I don't think they understand that. Thomas Fallah on his own cannot make a decision or determination of whether the legislature gets audited or not, right? Besides, we have a dedicated agency of government that does auditing. It's not a legislator that does that. There's a fundamental lack of how governance work, as far as I can tell. Look, you want to talk integrity? You really want to talk integrity? Like I said, I've said at the beginning of the show, everything my colleagues are going to say, they're all going to be generalization. They are not going to point to specific. You will hear the guys say, Thomas Fallah is corrupt, he's this, he's that, no specific. Now I'm going to tell you about Dillon, I'm going to be very specific. Dillon, on the issue of integrity, issue of character, of inconsistencies, he said that he will not ride in a vehicle, right, over a certain price. What happened when he went to the legislature? He was presented a vehicle worth over $45,000. He and his supporters found every justification in the book why they should ride that car. They found it was for Jeremy Doe Sharif, and what do you expect the men to go to walk to work? Well, there are thousands of civil servants around Liberia that ride buses, that get on the keke and they go to work. If Dillon was a man of integrity and character, as he claimed, he said he wasn't going to ride any car that much. It doesn't matter if they are bought it for the president. He said he wasn't going to ride a car with that value. He somersaulted the moment he saw luxury. He somersaulted today, he enjoys a car and he drives around it. Is that what you call integrity? Mm-hmm. This is a man who took $66,500 taxpayer money. Do you understand the budget process? Do you understand our appropriations law? Do you understand that you cannot just take money that was budgeted for something? If it was an operation, you can't take that and use that as personal expense. Do you know that what Dillon did? Is that integrity? Do you understand Dillon? In the middle of a major elections in 2011, left his party to support Madam Salif. Is that what you call integrity? This man is nothing close to integrity. He's absolutely nothing close to integrity. How pick up from there?
Yeah, and let me I got 2 minutes, right? Let me go ahead and just categorize some of what my colleague was talking about, right? So I think this guy is doing everything possible to trick the people of Liberia, right? So he announces that a certain percentage of his compensation goes to community development, but he manages that, he expenses that, he audits that. So in technical terms, he uses the money, on his own activity. So technically, nothing goes to to community development as he said. That's fraud. Now, the second thing is that a guy that was talking about in the major 2011 elections, when the Liberty Party was one of the strongest opposition political party that was struggling, that was battling, the Unity Party for political leadership. As stalwart of the Liberty Party, on the eve of the elections, Dillon abandoned the Liberty Party for opportunity in the Unity Party and with the son of the president. The Liberty Party expelled Dillon by the Liberty Party on grounds that he was chasing after feeding his pocket, and it was not about the interests of the Liberian people. Few months after Dillon was given a scholarship to go to Stroyer University, thank God he failed. You know, he was dropped for academic, academic.
Well, Harry, let us not even let us interrogate. We want to know why he was fired as chief of staff.
When Dillon has worked with every political science in this country. When he worked with Edwin Snow, Snow went out of job, the speakership. Dillon ran to Ellen, Dillon went to Joel, Dillon went to Liberty Party. Dillon has not a single credibility to stand on. Everybody is acceptable once you provide financial opportunities for Dillon.
You're hijacking the show. I mean, you just have
to remain the Liberian Senate.
I thought you didn't start hijacking the show.
They wasted their time. They've not told us how they are.
Thank you. Please do not interrupt.
Fallah's
integrity, they haven't said anything.
Oh, we said a lot of Fallah.
I got nothing about integrity.
Hold on.
I got a plea.
Hold on, let me moderate this show. Please hold on. So because this issue is very crucial, we'll give you the opportunity. Yeah, you did not tell us about Fallah's integrity. You talk about Dillon. So we want to come back to Team Dillon for rebuttal, and we'll give you an opportunity for rebuttal as well. Team Dillon.
Yeah, you see, Mr. Jah, when
this time, if I can choose, I want Abraham to go first. That way, you don't take all the time. But you guys can decide what to do.
Yeah, Abraham, rebuttal. Unmute yourself.
Listen, you see, it's unfortunate that Ato and Gamana just all over the place running around, and we are not even the one telling them that they're not even answering the questions. The moderator telling them they're not answering the question. I mean, it's unfortunate. You know, these guys, I mean, they just run around the place and thinking that, you know, this is the CDC kind of thing. No, we are here to inform the Liberian people. This is a critical election. These elections are very critical because it is an election between good and evil, right and wrong. And Dillon has proven that integrity test. So that is the reason why the people have entrusted Dillon that, listen, whatever it is, we don't even need money from you. First time in the history of our country for a man to go to in an election and without even throwing rice and money around, but at the same time when it was elected overwhelmingly in Montserrado County, it tells you that the people of Liberia and Montserrado, they understand the character of Dillon. And because of that, they can entrust him anytime, any day. It doesn't matter. No, if Dillon take up Dillon walk from Barnaby Estate to Capitol Building, Governor Clinton will still come in and criticize Dillon. It doesn't mean anything. If Dillon go off, he run Peppin from Gallanville and to Capitol Building every single day, I will still come in and criticize. The fact of the matter is that I will leave the legality with Gola Fallah. But the fact is that Dillon has demonstrated consistently, unlike Thomas Fallah, who stays there 15 good years, have not demonstrated anything of integrity, but pass bad concessions, make bogus concessions. Let me ask a question. If the legislature was a good legislature, why are the people of Liberia still living below the poverty line? If the laws they were making at the national level 15 years ago, including Thomas Fallah, why did the people of Liberia are benefiting now and the country is better off? That's the fundamental question that they must answer. Go ahead and glorify.
Yeah, you see, Harry, you know, one of the things he said, I'm a student of history, and I read a lot about Aristotle and Plato. And one of the things that Aristotle championed was the issue of partnership in certain states. When you talk about Dillon being all around to different parties and things, Dillon have worked here, Dillon have worked there. Dillon is a man who reflects the philosophy of people like Aristotle. Like, you have to build partnership regardless, you have to cross political barriers regardless of your political differences. And Dillon has exemplified that. He worked with Edwin Snow. Yes, he worked with Madam Salif. He stated several times his conviction, what he saw. When I met Dillon in 2011, we all went on campaign trails to re-elect Madam Salif. We did it on reasons that the country was better up compared to before she took over. So Dillon going all around, working here, leaving Liberty Party, coming to UP, I tell you, that shows leadership and the willingness to form partnership. That's what Dillon has exemplified. And the guys, they're not answering the questions. They're not answering the question of integrity. They're just dwelling on Dillon. Dillon is the most popular politician in Montserrado. Even compared to Begugbe, George Weah, you like it, you bring him in the election, Dillon is going to beat him. Because people trust him, that's why they voted for him overwhelmingly, over 100,000 votes. But my colleagues will not answer the question of integrity. They will not answer the question of why a certain lawmaker will receive pickup after signing a concession in the case of Thomas Fallah. Why a certain lawmaker then on several important committees like Ways and Means, Maritime, those are committees that I play with that look at the millions and billions that come to the country in investment. But yet then our people still live in abject poverty. Look in Thomas Fallah district, he does not even know the number of businesses in his constituency that come to the national covers. He does not know.
Thank you, Saki.
Ask these guys to tell you they do not even know.
Thank you.
The people.
Thank you, Saki.
Look,
Let's go to Team Fallah for rebuttal as well.
Look, this is like a waste of time. I mean, these people are just putting all wild accusations. They've provided no evidence. Saki is not coming here to say, according to this, according to this report, Thomas Fallah took a picker. He's not saying Thomas Fallah was indicted for taking a picker. Come on now. What are you making? You don't make accusations like that without evidence. I mean, we are intellectuals. If you are going to put for an argument, then you must have some evidence to back it. What you guys are doing, like if you listen to, I don't know if you're listening to yourself, you're not even talking about Thomas Fallah. Already, you're just making an indictment of the entire legislature. Everything you're saying is about the legislature. You're really not talking about Thomas Fallah. You're just talking about the legislature. This is about Thomas Fallah and Darius Dillon, right? The reason why we've not even dwelt on Thomas Fallah integrity, we don't need to say more. We just need to talk about the loans.
I have it.
What Thomas Fallah have consistently, his people has voted him 3 times. Why would they be voting somebody without an integrity? His colleagues, right? 73 representatives have taken this man from one committee to another, leadership roles. One man doesn't have integrity. So you telling me that every single lawmaker doesn't have integrity in the national legislature? So much so that they take Thomas Fallah and make him chairman of the Ways, Means, and Finance Committee. Thomas Fallah, that's why we are not dwelling on Thomas Fallah, because the integrity is there. It's glaring for everybody to see, for the number of years he served, for the positions he's had. And when we talk about integrity again, we say you don't mention the law, because we give you instances of the car. We give you the inconsistency with just recently where he told a lady that he's not responsible. I mean, this is all showmanship. And this is why we said consistently Dillon will achieve nothing in the Senate. You make a big deal of Plato, and I know all you want to make this about political philosophy class, about Plato and Plato this, and Dillon is making what concessions? Dillon is now a diplomat. He's not been able to win a single lawmaker on his side. That's why Dillon has not been able to get anything done in Liberia Senate, because he's not been able to reach across the aisle.
That's the reason why.
Right? He's not being able to. So I know I'm talking to your man's friend that Dillon can work with people. Why is he not been able to work in the Senate? Let's see how far his bill goes.
That's why.
Yeah. So I let you pick up that Dillon doesn't have any integrity.
That is a fundamental reason why he doesn't have a friend.
And Dennis,
so you let more of Dillon in the
Hey guys, our time.
So this is an indictment of the entire Liberia Senate.
Yes, they are spineless. I support Dillon, and the entire legislature is spineless.
Dennis, when the guys are done, let me go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Dennis, it's a problematic argument that because we have poor people in Liberia, so you cannot attribute achievements and successes to Thomas Fallah, because there are still people poor in Liberia. Show me a country, without poverty, without a percentage of poverty, right? I will vote for Dillon, right? So what people go to do in the legislature is to make laws, legislation that will influence policy, and implementation of programs that will have, subsequent impact on people's lives, that will transform the community. You don't go to the legislature, you say, I'm the light, everybody here is corrupt. So that's it. You are disrupting traditional issues in the country. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have to identify fundamental problems. You have to prescribe solutions to legislation, to lawmaking, and that lawmaking will translate into policy formulation, into program formulation, and those programs will impact the lives of people. You don't carry a loud mouth to the legislature. Everything you go press conference, and you say, I'm the liar, I'm the liar. And that's the achievement. You don't have a single you come here and you say, you are the liar, you must go to the Senate. You will not go to the Senate. It is logically impossible, and the Liberian people will vote you out of the Liberian Senate.
Thank you. So I'll start with you for this other segment. Let's do the numbers. Let's talk numbers now.
Yeah, let's talk numbers.
About numbers. You have to win the people to be able to vote. So I want to see where Fallah is getting these numbers from, and this is why I'm asking. Okay, we saw that the CDC ran with Pauletta Way and lost. Okay, so where the numbers coming from that Pauletta, where will Fallah get numbers from that Pauletta couldn't get them from? So let's talk numbers now.
Dennis, in 2017, the first round of the election, and let me just say here, it is statistically impossible for Dillon to win Thomas Fallah. All of the argument we've had, it has been about logic, it has been about rationale. Statistically, it is impossible, and I'm going to give you the evidence to that. 3 years ago, in 2017, in the first round of the election, the CDC, about 276,000 people went to the polls, they voted for the CDC. If you put the Unity Party, the Liberty Party, the ANC, the three major political parties as part of the CPP, you put all of the votes together, it falls short of the number of votes that the CDC got for Montserrado. That's the first round of the elections. In the second round of the elections, where you have only the CDC and the Unity Party or the other political parties came on, CDC vote increased, it soared to 314,000 votes. The Unity Party had a little over 180,000, 185,000 votes. So CDC again dominated. So all of the other opposition political, you put it together, CDC still remained the strong political party in Montserrado. Now, that was in 2017. Let's go to the election in 2019 that brought Dillon on as senator. CDC has struggled for political leadership in Liberia for 12 years. So it was about the presidency, because it was not necessarily about sending people to the legislature, because there were members of the CDC who had gone to the legislature. So the focus was on the presidency. When CDC, won the election of president, was elected, president, the euphoria, because we've achieved 12 years, landmark had dropped. There were voter, fatigue, and as a result of that, now, in addition to, there were a lot of things happening in the country in 2019. There were fake news, there were disinformation, there were misinformation about, somebody put $16 billion in the pocket, somebody told $25 million. So group of lies accumulated over time and flooded the political landscape of Liberia in 2019. There were a series of demonstrations. Now, all of those activities actually, a reawakening, the opposition, based on the whole CPP and COP. And that was the reason why you saw a good number, relatively out of the support of the opposition came together, and you saw that Dillon got a little over 100,000 votes, right? CDC could not mobilize the people to get up and vote. Now, to argue that the vote that Dillon got, there were seditions who came to vote for Dillon, it's problematic. It's an irresponsible argument. First round, CDC got 275,000 votes. Second round, they got 314,000 votes. Dillon vote was a little over 100,000 votes, far short of even Unity Party votes in the first two elections. This is what's going to happen. Dillon has been recognized as a distraction to the progress of the country, the progress of the pro-port agenda. CDC as a political party, you know, and other well-meaning Liberians will realize that we are mobilizing across the country. We're going grassroots. Our support base will come up. The 300,000 plus support that we have in the communities in Montserrado, those people are angry. They are angry that Dillon's mission is to disrupt the progress of the country, and those people will vote Dillon out. They will vote Dillon out. So statistically, Dillon vote Liberty Party, ANC, CCC, PPP, WWW. All of them accumulated, they did not come close, you know.
Harry, if I may, look. I mean, Dillon is not going to this time. If you look at the numbers in 2014, there's been voters fatigue, right? And then Harry put it so succinctly. A lot of seditians were tired, right, and felt accomplished, right? There was complacency. They've won the presidency finally, right? So even if you look at the elections that brought Sir Joseph, right, there was a very low turnout, right? They have won the presidency. Everybody was rejoicing, right? So this time, where CDNCs now have recognized that the law is there to stop their president's agenda, the 300,000 people that voted for CDC are going to come out. They're angry and they're willing to get their own out.
And thank you.
And the president's agenda is to enrich himself.
Abraham, you are please unmute yourself.
The president's agenda is to enrich himself.
Saki, let me just go for it. Listen.
Yeah.
No, hold on. I didn't ask you yet. So hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you are. So my question to you, the same question: where is Dillon going to get his numbers from? And let me give you a backdrop. Right now, we see that Fallah actually excites the base, the seditions, okay? And there are some CDC people coming home that were the people that we refer to on social media as disenchanted sedition. We see them coming home, right? So
come home.
So where would Dillon get the extra to pull through?
Hey, so here's the thing. I talk about statistical analysis. Here, fundamentally, his statistical analysis is flawed. You cannot compare a general election with a senatorial election. That's fundamental flaw. You can't do that analysis. You are made of numbers. You know numbers. You don't do that. That's wrong. Don't mislead the public. The first thing is that let me give you an example. Right? I'm in the States. After I was in the States, I didn't go home to vote, but I was part of the CDC campaign. And I called relatives back home, my mom, my sister, my brothers, everybody voted for the CDC in Montserrado. So does that mean that they're going to vote for Stonefire this time around? Absolutely not. So you cannot make that statistical analysis. So that's fundamentally flawed. You don't make that analysis. And besides that, the presidential election is quite different from the senatorial elections. Okay? And more besides, the issues that made Dillon to have won 100,000 plus votes are still there. The fundamental issues are there. Issues of corruption, the issues of bad governance, the issues of Georgia being played for, and Stonefire being used as a scapegoat in the national legislature to pass bad concessions and Georgia benefit. Those are the issues that matter. The bread and butter issues that confront our people daily, they are still there. They're not going away. So those issues are the issues the people are going to vote on, and they're going to vote Stonefire. Listen, if Stonefire gets about 50,000 votes in Montserrado, then he's strong. Let me You'll be beating by 300,000 votes in Montserrado. I can promise you that. Go ahead and listen. So, just quickly, Dillon have provided in the national legislature the light that everyone sees now what happens at the national legislature. That's unprecedented in the history of our country. Go ahead.
Harry is relying on statistics, knowing that statistics don't work in this situation. Or had the Georgia government been responsible enough, and if Representative Fallah would have had the balls, the spine, to challenge the government to conduct a census, as the Constitution provides, that census should be conducted every 10 years. Dillon has stood up and repeatedly called on the issue of the census, how important it is. Then your statistics, which has no reliance, Harry, they would have had some substance to talk about. But right now, the key issues, voters are going to be weighing from last year to now. What has the government done? And you know, and interestingly, this time, they're not going to use President Weah on their banner. They discovered the whole secret that he's unpopular. His government is so unpopular. So they're using different strategy, cash violence and all that. Your statistics is flawed because they'll look at key issues, the livelihood of people, the democratic space, a lot of issues of violence from the CDC camp that are going on unsolved. Government does not investigate, it just died down. There are electoral violence that are still on the book, no address to those things. The people are looking at those things. The economic hardship, the complete selfishness on the part of the president and that of the CDC people, the accumulation of wealth overnight. You know, people are looking at all those things that they're going to weigh. Has the government improved? They're not going to go look at your statistics that Darius Dillon got 100,000 votes plus, more than George Weah. The records are there. Don't argue with me, go to NEC. So your issue of voter fatigue, all those excuses, right now, there will be no excuses because the voters are going to look at the key issues of governance, accountability, the rule of law. They're not going to look at because a CDC. Now, one of the things you need to know, you guys don't understand, is that every election, the voters get educated. In over 15 years, CDC has led Montserrado with no socioeconomic improvement. They're just there to collect the big checks. George Weah went there, nothing. Thomas Fallah wants to come to continue his self-enrichment, building universities or buildings that are substandard. He called that, yeah, I give it over to you.
Thank you, sir. Now, this is our final segment, and we come to the issues. Where does your candidate stand? These are the issues. So the first question is on rape and the your candidate's record. And this time we're going to ask one person. So what is Senator Darius Dillon's stance and records against rape and SGBV in Liberia? Senator Dillon's team will answer that question, and Fallah's team will rebut. And then we're going to ask a question about Fallah's stance, and then Senator Dillon's team will rebut. So let's start with, what is Senator Dillon's stance and records against
let's be frank, you know, let's just be frank here. I think the issue of rape is something that should be non-political, because it's something that we've seen happen. It's like a tradition in Liberia that rape is going on, or just people just rape and it goes free. You know, it's systemic. And everyone, including Representative Fallah, Darius Dillon, you know, we need to come on the table. It's a national issue, it's a national core. And Darius Dillon has a position on rape that is not different from me, that rape has to be our issue of high priority on the agenda of the government. You understand? So I think we should not politicize this thing, because when we try to politicize rape, the victim who are the center of, should be the center of our attention, will not be looked after, because it will always be about what Dillon's position about rape and what Fallah's position about rape. Is he going to get vote because he stand to persecute rape victims, or he stand for rape victims to be executed or capital punishment? This thing, we shouldn't look at it as a way to gain political point. We have to look at it as a nation. Where do we want to go? The culture of rape has to stop. And that, I believe, Senator Dillon has repeatedly called on national leaders to see rape as something that we need to end. Listen to his podcast, listen to his comments. He has raised the issue. So I think we have to depoliticize the issue of rape and look at it holistically.
Let me add that. Let me just add that. In addition to what he just said, Dillon also wrote the Liberian Senate. He's on record. He wrote the Liberian Senate to invite all of the relevant institutions, the gender ministry, the security center, and other people who are responsible for some of the issues in the country. And regrettably, when it came to the hearing, regrettably, if you remember when Yomli Kanga wasted the tea on Sir Joseph and Henry Yala from Bon County, they didn't allow the session to go on at all without even asking those relevant institutional representatives to make to explain to Liberian people what was really happening in the country with respect to the issue of rape, insecurity, and all of that, and all kinds of things. Less than 30 minutes, the session was over because Henry Yala passed a motion and that was closed. So Darius Dillon had been his own record. He has written the Senate that the issue should be investigated and all the relevant institutions was invited. But unfortunately, again, the CDC people decided that it was not important. The issue of rape was not important. But evidence of the president was in studio doing music while the people were on the street and trying to present a petition, and he was there watching TV, watching the people talking about, he was in studio talking about, we were watching TV. Listen, that one thing I want to stress out before I even come back to that. Governor Clinton misinformed the public that the bill that was passed, the college bill that was passed by Thomas Fallah. That is not true. It was passed by Representative Eugene Fallah. That's my friend, the late Eugene Fallah. He passed that bill.
Well, first thing, a single person does not pass.
No, that's not true. And I want you to fast check these things because it's important. By fast check, you don't make the kind of allegation, you don't make the kind of false information in the public domain, and then you think it's okay. It's not okay. Don't misinform the public. That is not true. Now, so Darius Dillon has done a lot. The only thing he can do is to represent the people. He presented a letter to invite those institutions, and they came on funding that. But he has been speaking on the issue of rape, on the issue of LGBT, and whatsoever that has to affect the Liberian people. He has been speaking on those
national
issues.
Security
So he has been not on national security, on all of the issues that confront our people on a daily basis. He has his own record. He has written it to the Senate, but unfortunately, guys in the CDC don't see that as an issue. So every time he writes a letter to the Senate, to the leadership, it falls on deaf ears. It falls on deaf ears. So again, he has demonstrated that and consistently continue to demonstrate that.
Thank you. Let's go to the Palestine for rebuttal.
Yeah, Harry, I'd like to take up on this one.
Talk about his records on rape and SGBV.
And since the brought the larger government's responses, the CDC and the CDC government, I'm going to speak from that perspective. But first thing, I'd like to clarify a few things. I told you our colleagues made a lot of allegations, and without any kind of substance, right? There's no evidence. First thing, I don't know. He said, Thomas Fallah wants to go to continue benefiting George via concessions, passing concessions for George via. I don't know how many concessions have been passed since George Via has been president. That's a lie, none. So, I mean, these guys, they just put on things that they have no evidence for. Second thing, he said that, there's cash violence around Monrovia and rights and people distributing. Well, Darius Dillon is on record.
There's evidence, yes. There's evidence.
Darius Dillon is on record, right, for giving people rights and money. There's video of it. So these guys are not honest. They're not really honest about it. So, I mean, when Dillon does it, it's okay. When Fallah does it or anybody else does it, then it's a problem. But to the larger question of rape, I think there's a fundamental lack of understanding when it comes to understanding policy response and politicizing an issue. What the moderator is asking is what position these candidates have, or what action, the policy action they are supporting or taking. This is not politicizing the issue. And since you brought in that the CDC people don't want to do anything about it, let me tell you what the president has done. Contrary to the misinformation out there, in July, the president of the Republic of Liberia convened stakeholders to discuss rape. This is a fact. The president of the Republic, contrary to what my colleagues can do, I will give you facts when I talk. The president of the Republic of Liberia convened a meeting of stakeholders on rape. At that meeting, the president constituted an interministerial task force on rape with the responsibility of analyzing and investigating the issues and the proliferation of rape in our country and making recommendations. At that meeting also, the Minister of Gender presented statistics on rape to the president. And some of the stakeholders talk about some of the problems confronting law enforcement, investigation, and prosecution. And one of the things that were discovered is that the government lacks the forensic capacity to fully collect evidence to successfully prosecute crimes. What did the president do? The president mandated the Minister of Finance to procure DNA capability, because you can't prosecute rape in the absence of forensic, collecting forensic evidence. right? At the center of rape usually is the men's semen, right? That you have to collect to test. So the president have mandated the Minister of Finance, and it's estimated that the government it will spend over $600,000 to procure 2 DNA machines to start to give it to our people to start to test and fast track rape. What our colleagues have now also told you that they've not looked at any statistics. I mean, these people talk about evidence that there's been some improvement. There's a data from UNDP, and I can provide it to you, Mr. Moderator, to check it. That there's been some improvement, that this government, and this is why, read the EU response. Read EU response. The EU has been supporting the government. And UNDP data said from 2017 to about 2020, 2,570 sexual-based violence cases are reported. The government prosecuted and got conviction. I didn't just say prosecuted, and got conviction for 1,290. That's almost a 50% conviction rate. These folks come here without evidence, without doing any kind of fact check, and just throw allegations. The CDC board don't want to do this. CDC board don't want to do that.
No, in 10 seconds.
No,
let me just in 10 seconds that I'm sure Dillon doesn't even know that there is a Senate amendment.
They fail to talk about their Canada's position on rape.
And Thomas Fallah is fighting.
Make this about the CDC position, so we give you the CDC position.
Okay.
They say, no,
Nobody.
they talk about.
All right, all of you are muted. Let me start now. Harry, your time is out, so we go to the next one. What is Honorable Thomas Fallah's position and record on fixing the bad educational system? I know that he has a school, but that's the background of my question. But legislatively, what has been his record in fixing the system that President Salif declared a mess? The Fallah's team.
Yeah. So why I answer that? I mean, within my time frame, I can say whatever I want to say. I just want to say that there is a Senate amendment to the rape law. I'm sure Dillon doesn't know that because he doesn't want to. He's clueless. That is now at the lower house as we speak. Thomas Fallah is fighting on the floors of the lower house, ensuring that amendment is not passed. The Senate, amended the rape law to make rape a bailable offense. Even when the proof is evident, and presumption is great, the state believe that it should be a bailable offense. So as we speak, that's the effort of Honorable Fallah. I'm sure the Dillon can tell, the guys can tell Dillon now, so he can.
All of them, Dillon just showing up at rallies is sensationalism,
Yeah. So it's one thing to say, we are involved in something. It's another thing to demonstrate that you're making actions. And there are also documented reports that Dillon was involved into domestic violence, gender-based violence. He beat his wife. There were reports in the newspaper, regularly and stuff like that. So it's one thing to say I'm against it. It's another thing to take actions, that are also, perpetuating the action. So, but to go to the specific question, you asked, and you begin to answer the question, right? That this guy is not only in the legislature ensuring that our funding to the education sector is increased. I remember when I was a student leader at the Liberia National Students Union, it was people like Thomas Fallah who argue that a student organization that supervises students across the country who must be able to increase their budgetary support. When I was at the University of Liberia in student leadership there, it was people like Thomas Fallah, who would argue that there's a need, to increase the budgetary support to the University of Liberia. And that was the reason why when George Weah became president, the likes of Thomas Fallah told the president that, hey, we have to end this age-old problems of people don't have the economic means of being in school. Every semester were demonstrations. We were demonstrating because there were thousands of university students. They wanted to remain in school. They never had the economic, means of remaining in school. So we were giving scholarships. We could not even raise the money. The university will close the registration process. There will be demonstrations. Thomas Fallah, lobbied, member of the legislature also, a sedition with the president that, hey, we have to end this. We have to end this age-old historical traditional issues of money, money, money. The act that established the university chapter says the government must support the university 80%. And government came and go, did not do that. Ambassador Weah said, we have to end that. So the way to do it, people will go to school, whether you have money, you don't have money, you go to school and get educated. It was because of the likes of Thomas Fallah who intervened. Thomas Fallah is not only making those policies, he's practically building schools. He providing scholarships. He training teachers. So he building the facilities. I'm not just saying we're going to do it. I'll show you how to do it. He built the second largest educational facility in the country, second to the University of Liberia, to provide education opportunity for Liberians. You're not just going to hold a press conference and and shouting here God's island.
Facebook lives.
Yeah, we made absolutely no action. This guy is solving problems, solving practical problems. This guy is ending historical problems in the country. And today, what the guys do, opposition, they hit the government, hit the president so much that they will criticize those actions that are intended to provide opportunities for Liberians, keep Liberians in school, get them educated. So Thomas Fallah is the giant on the floor of the legislature, and he also practically, ensuring that those things are done in his district. Given an opportunity, he will extend that to the rest of Montserrado.
Tim Dillon, your rebuttal.
Yeah.
And if you can add to the same question, you can do that.
They got nothing to say.
Abraham, you can unmute yourself and begin.
The thing is that Thomas Fallah has been at the national legislature for 15 years. And I've been in the States for 8 going 9 years. So I was in the country. After it's unfortunate for you to be dwelling on false school and trying to promote Thomas Fallah in this manner. It's not healthy for you and for Thomas Fallah and for the CDC. You don't do that in a public space. You don't tell willful lies in a public space. It's not healthy. Let me tell you this. I was a former student leader, and we still have students at the University of Liberia. There is no record. There is no record of Thomas Fallah advocating for the University of Liberia anywhere. I told to prove that. I challenge him to provide the evidence and provide the forum and provide the platform for the evidence. That is not true. You don't do that. Because there are students who are still around. There are students who are still around at the University of Liberia, and we know that the records are there. So for you to be dwelling on falsehood is unfortunate. But let me go to the issue. Listen, the law, Thomas Fallah, it's unfortunate that the likes of Thomas Fallah, who is a part of a system that have helped the people for decades and years, is now being as an say that he's an angel and will deliver Montserrado. Like the engine through which George Weah and can use as that system in the national legislature, as though
internet not working.
Yeah, you have been
sin, he ready to
pick up.
Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we have Abraham's connection. Go ahead.
So let me continue on AB. Some of the things Harry said. He said that the Senate
and provide a relief to Liberian people so that people in most that is a cardinal issue.
AB, are you there?
Go ahead, Saki.
Yeah, just to put him, let me correct him. I think he left something out of a very important thing Harry said about the rape bill being that the Senate passed in the lower house. That Fallah is fighting. There's no evidence to that, And interestingly, that bill that you talk about, the billable, George Weah was a senator. They passed that bill. So that reflects on Thomas Fallah in the CDC. You failed to talk about that. Go and check your records. Another thing, or when you talk about education, there was 1 year in the Senate. You remember when there was a skyrocket high school fees around the country that parents and you were complaining about the rising tuition, you know, and the Minister of Education being someone who has a school, which is a conflict of interest. He runs a school, his deputy runs a school. They all have no interest in the common people within their ability to send their children to school. It was Senator Dillon who requested, who wrote plenary to call on the Minister of Education to justify the increase in salary. So that was a step taken by Dillon to make sure that the layman in Douala, in any part of Liberia, can pay their school fees instead of every year school fees going up. And the very CDC people, they don't want that to happen because it was about questioning the government official. Every time something comes from Dillon, they say it's counterproductive, is destruction. Dillon is being an obstruction. Dillon is being a distraction. That's their definition of distraction. When issues that concern the ordinary people are raised by Dillon, especially when it comes to education. Harry is just throwing free talks here. There is nothing substantial. He just wants to fill in the gap and complete his time. So he's talking a whole lot of lies, throwing things that he has no evidence.
Were you in the council meeting with me?
But this man
were you
in
those meetings?
15 years.
Thank you. Thank you. Your time is out. Let's keep within the confines of the time. Now let's come to Referendum 2020. We have three major ones that I want you to talk about. One is dual citizenship, the reduction in the term of office of the president and legislators, and also changing or adjusting the election date. Let's start with Team Fallah. Where does Honorable Thomas Fallah stand on Referendum 2020, and what is he doing so as to educate the population, or so that the population is aware, the voters are aware of how they're going to participate in the referendum, what they're going to do, voters' education?
I want to go straight into that, but I can't do that without first pointing out a lie. You know, like I said on this show, our colleagues will either lie or proffer, you know, a misinformation backed by nothing. Saki just said, he just talked about a men-and-rape law, and he said it was done when George Weah was in the Senate. That's a lie, right? I have here, right, the October 5th, 2017 edition of Front Page Africa. George Weah was never in the Senate at the time when the rape law was amended, right? All the senators that were present when I was done, they are listed right here. Go and read October 5th, 2017 edition of the Front Page Africa. You don't come here. You know who you're dealing with. You don't come here and just proffer those kind of misinformation. George was never in the Senate. He did not participate in amending the law to make rape billable. That is a lie. You don't come and do it here.
Well, not in the Senate, or he didn't participate.
Okay, so now let's move on. Now we've clarified that. When we fact check here, we'll provide evidence. When you fact check, or you will just make a session, you will not provide evidence. We've done that.
You said out there you didn't provide evidence. You said out there you
I
provide
just showed
evidence.
you the Front Page Africa, October 5th, 2017 edition. What evidence you want? It's there. All the senators that was there on that day, they are listed right there. Go and read. And now I will let Ato go ahead and continue.
Referendum 2020. Ato, go ahead.
As a matter of fact, sorry. Am I on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So with respect to the referendum, as a matter of fact, Thomas Fallah is one of the lawmakers who initially advised and you know the referendum in the legislature. So you know he's basically, you know, for years the issue of dual citizenship, he supports that. You know, the issue of reducing the term of the presidency, he supports that. The issue of reducing the term of the I think the member of the Senate as well, the legislature, he also supports that. I mean, he believes that, you know, we have a fragile democracy, you know, and it should be all of us responsibility to solidify, you know, the democracy and ensure that, you know, it uses its intended purpose. So the way to do it is to ensure that people are held accountable. So reducing the tenure shows that, you know, you have to perform, otherwise you're going to be answerable to the people. Dual citizenship, he believes that, you know, there are wealth of experience and wealth of resources that are abroad. You know, Liberia has not been a very peaceful country for so many years. So people had no option. You know, people came, they sought opportunities, you know, abroad, you know, and got citizenship that the country can benefit from. You know, so he believes that we must ensure that Liberians abroad are given the opportunity to benefit and contribute, you know, to the rebuilding process, you know, of the country. So he supports that. You know, as you are aware that he's head of the Ways Means committee, ensuring that the National Elections Commission get the necessary resources. I learned they even they are increasing the budget of the National Elections Commission, specifically, you know, sending a lot of money to voter, you know, education, voter awareness, and even his team is also, there's a strategy to ensure that we properly educate our people. Because it's one thing to have all of the good proposition, but if the people don't clearly understand what the real issues are, they don't clearly understand the benefits associated. Like for me, 10 years ago, I would have argued that I don't support dual citizenship. And it was just for economic reasons. I thought that, you know, I was poor, and so people from abroad, they're more wealthy, and they would come, they may be more educated, and they would, you know, they would compete. And I'm not able and ready to compete with them, and they will take opportunities, you know, from us in Liberia at the time. Right now, those conditions don't exist based on education, the exposure that I've had. So we need to provide that in another form and fashion so our people clearly understand what are the benefits associated with these propositions so that they can vote yes, and then we can support, you know, the sustainability of our democracy.
Thank you. Let's go to the Dillon's team. Dillon's support of what is position on the referendum?
He's against dual citizenship.
Let me first.
Hold on a second. Is a position on referendum 2020 and has a lawmaker, because it looked like these candidates are all focused on their campaign. What are they doing, or what is Dillon's doing to educate for voters' education to be provided? Because it looks like I don't think the government is doing a good job with that.
Yeah, I think Dillon has been one of the persons who has talked a lot about the dual citizenship issue. But before I go to that, let me just let Gamonde know that we was part of, you know, when you claim that you're not part of something and you don't speak about it, you know, it doesn't mean you're not part of it. We was in the Senate, right? He represented his people in the Senate when that bill was passed. So when I speak about
they did not vote on that.
Listen. When I say was part of the Senate, you're talking two things. You say he was not part of the Senate, and then he was not in the Senate as though he was not a senator at that time. He was part of the Senate. He was part of the Senate. He doesn't know what the red bill is. The billable that calls people should be go on bill. He doesn't have interest in it. So why you think that of Thomas Fallah will try to start fighting that if we are who represent the people of Montserrado made that to go into law? He was part of the Senate when that was passed. So you have no argument on that. The next thing that had to do with the issue of the referendum. My candidate supports the issue of dual citizenship condition, which I strongly support. All right. And when you listen to him and you follow what he has said, that as times go by, the issue of dual citizenship will reach to the point where everyone may reach to the point where everyone may have equal opportunity to contest for political position and all that. So he supports dual citizenship. Unlike what Harry saying, the man does not support dual citizenship. Yes, he supports dual citizenship. And the dual citizenship issue, it affects every one of us, our friends, our relatives. We have to go back to Liberia. You understand? So he supports it, and the issue of tenure of the president, which the CDC people, including Harry and Gamonde, they don't understand the difference between tenure and how you call it? Yeah, they don't understand the difference between the terms of office and the tenure. They confuse it. That's the nature of CDC. The tenure of the presidency, our candidate supports that. that the presidency, the tenure should reduced from 6 years to 5 years. Yeah, Harry and Gamonde then consider that as terms, that's 6 terms. Go look at on that billboard. The CDC, that's the nature of them. They don't even know what they say, what they're doing, promoting the job. The next thing that has to do with what? The referendum, the dual citizenship, our candidate supports it, or the issue of the tenure, our candidate supports it. So again, it's something that's why I said Darius Dillon is someone who knows how to form partnership. Not because it came from Thomas Fallah, the CDC, so Darius Dillon does not support it. When it comes from Darius Dillon, a bill seeking to reduce salary for lawmakers, Harry and Gamonde said no, because it's from Darius Dillon. That's not citizenship. That is not citizenship. You guys should be citizen enough to embrace ideas, whether it comes from people from the different part of the spectrum. That's what Darius Dillon wholeheartedly supports the referendum and those key provisions. It didn't come from him, but it came from the CDC people. But why is Darius Dillon embracing it? Because that is what we call sound citizenship. That's what we want him to continue in the legislature, in the Senate, like Thomas Fallah, who is.
Let me just add that. Let me just add. You know, I don't know which one of the article that government, like, I mean, I'm not going to go over some of the things that Saki just said, because, you know, I'll be repeating myself. But what government said, I don't know what the government read the article in the From British Africa. And he again, the guys will just be dwelling on, you know, misinformation to the public. Senator and George Weah then were part of the Senate. But apparently he didn't, he voted or not, but he was part of the Senate. So that misinformation, go back and read the article. Go back and read the article and inform the people. Don't come here and come and misinform the people and thinking that you're gonna slide with that. No. But he didn't vote. So that means that supports his current position. That support his current position, because today he doesn't have a position on. He didn't even accept the rate. The rate.
Thank you. Your time is out. I'm muting you. All right. Yeah, I gotta be fair here, guys. We gotta do the time.
We understand.
Gentlemen, I think the discussion is going well so far. So we are drawing down the curtains, and we'll ask for your final position or non-position, your final thoughts to make that final case. Why you think your candidate should be the one to lead Montserrado County? Why is your candidate better? And take into account the issue of integrity, moral character, and accomplishment as a legislator. This time, the Fallah team will go first to make your closing argument. And both of you are muted. Please unmute yourself. So we go the same 2 minutes each for your final arguments. Again, let me be clear. We want for you to sell your candidate why is better than the other candidate. And please mention the integrity factor and also accomplishments.
Okay.
The Fallah team.
Governor, I will keep the ball rolling.
I mean, just take 30 seconds to clarify this, because I don't want, you know, Harry, I mean, I don't understand, man. When was election was held, in which month was election held in 2017?
2017. President in 2018.
Which month was election held in 2017?
This is no we're not in a question competition.
December. The runoff was held in December.
This is no question competition. We're not in a question competition.
Elections. George Weah, the point I'm trying to make was George Weah was already contesting in October when that great bill was amended. He was not in the Senate. Saki, you need to get it fast right. George Weah was already contesting in October when that law was passed in 2017 October. What are you talking about?
Was he not in the Senate? He was in the
You don't have fast. You don't have fast. He was George Weah was contesting in October. The article is dated October 5th, 2017. Election was held October. I think about the 10th of October 2017. What are you talking about?
He was senator.
He was campaigning. He was running for president. He was not in the Senate.
That's my promise. Okay, so to begin.
Okay, hold on. So you used 1 minute of your time already. So you're going with the 3 minutes, right?
Good.
Go ahead.
Again, thank you for the opportunity. We want to we want to reiterate that Thomas Fallah, for nearly 15 years, has been a giant, the lion on the floors of the national legislature. Thomas Fallah has fought for physical and social infrastructure. Thomas Fallah has struggled, in the slums, in the ghettos, in the gutters, empowering Liberians and creating opportunities at the legislature and outside the legislature, whether it's in the education sector, it's in the health sector. He's right now concluding the construction of a state-of-the-art, medical facility in his district. Thomas Fallah has got the experience. Experience is the best teacher. You can make up for experience. You can use your loud mouth in the Senate to make up for experience. You can use your incompetent, to make up for experience. Thomas Fallah has got the experience. Thomas Fallah, most of those laws that he sponsored, it was because of his ability to go across the aisle, to cross the line, talk to different political alignment, different political actors from different political parties to ensure that laws are passed. He's not Dillon that would say everybody is corrupt, but he's like, I'm a lawyer, help me let's vote for it. That doesn't make sense. Thomas Fallah got the right achievement, overwhelming achievements. He has contributed overwhelmingly to the development of the country. As we speak, Thomas Fallah supports the pro-poor agenda that is ensuring the sustainable economic development of Liberians, and lifting Liberians out of poverty, improving different indicators in different sectors. We're just looking at the health sector, expenses. Right now, Liberians are living longer in the region than any other country, than Sierra Leoneans and Ivorians and Guineans. We live longer. It's because of the interventions that is happening in the health sector. Corruption, 2015, the last Rabbi Sali, the friend of Dillon at the time, the government was more corrupt than the present government. Transparency International, go on the website, the 2019 reports. So there have been overwhelming progress. Thomas Fallah and the CDC took over a broken country. They're fixing the country, creating jobs, building roads, transport infrastructure across the country. You need Thomas Fallah to help the president transform this country that the likes of Dillon, Robert Salih, and the rest of the guys, destroy. Dillon doesn't have the character. He has been consistently inconsistent. He is a distraction to the national legislature. Dillon will spend 9 years in the Senate without a piece, a single achievement, and you will say, oh, I was talking. We need deliverables, we need tangible, and we need someone like Thomas.
And he will attribute to CDC like his people are
for the people of Liberia. For once, they are ending historical problems in Liberia.
Thank you. You muted. Let's go to the Dillon's team for you to sell your candidate and include why he's qualified or he's better suited for the job, and take into consideration the integrity issue and also legislative accomplishments. 4 minutes for both of you.
Maybe you want to go?
Maybe unmute yourself, please. Ibrahim, unmute yourself and begin to speak.
All right, let me go because he's muted. So,
yeah. Saki, go ahead. Now, go 2 minutes. I'll go 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Jad. This has been a very, healthy exchange, and I believe that Liberia will one day see in Senator Darius Dillon the passion he has to see Liberia move from this state of morally decaying country that CDC leads, and people like Thomas Fallah with no integrity, no courage, no wisdom, to stand up to the ills, our sovereign people, but only to keep our people as beggars. That's what the pro-poor agenda is all about. Keep our people as beggars. When election comes, they go and spend money to get votes and sit there. But Darius Dillon said no. The traditional way of doing politics is about governing the people. Decision that affects the livelihood of our people. That is politics. Politics is not about self-enrichment, like what Thomas Fallah has done over 15 years, enriching himself with $15,000 monthly. What do you expect? Wouldn't that man be building complexes around? He's building his private places. He say he's providing education and other things for people. That's not the role of the lawmaker. And Darius Dillon, being a selfless person, is creating a new environment in the House of Legislature that they must take responsibility to seek the welfare of the common citizens. It's not to seek the welfare of themselves like what Josh Weah is building mansions for himself and other people. It's a selfless job. It's a job for seniors, for people who have the integrity, who have the courage and wisdom to stand up and say wrong is wrong. He doesn't have to hide his feeling about what is going wrong because he wants votes for his bill. That's not leadership. He's a bold person. He's not going to just jump into what is going on in the Senate, what has been going on in the House of Legislature for over 10, 15 years. So that is why I'm standing here today. I'm calling Liberians. Listen to these two gentlemen, Harry and Gamade, that they want to perpetuate the agenda of stealing, continuous stealing from the Liberian people by electing someone who has served 15 worthless years. 15 worthless years in.
What are you talking about?
But let me just
can I complete? The man who has spent 15 worthless years, his district is still impoverished.
You tell them what Australia. Where did he get the money from?
Cannot be protected.
Harry, stop this, man.
No, stop misleading the Liberian people.
Fallah has spent 15 worthless years in the Senate. The same 12 years he called I was useless under Ellen, which we saw as a productive 12 year. Fallah spent 15 years accumulating wealth for himself, leaving the people poor. Dillon said no. Dillon said, I'm proposing to the Senate to cut down salaries. You guys are saying no. So here is it. Let's weigh the two people and know who is really a genuine leader to move Liberia forward.
Let me just hello. Let me just how many minutes I got? Okay. So this is fundamental, right? Liberia is at a crossroad. Never in the history of our country we had the kind of leadership we see from Darius Dillon. Is strange, and so I know it's going to be new to the Liberian people. But the question is it good for the country or is it bad for the country? I would argue that it's good for the country, and here is why. Here is why. Too long, the fundamental historical underpinning of Liberia's underdevelopment has been evolved from the Liberian National Legislature over time. And so if we must fix the country, we must begin from the National Legislature, where Thomas Fallah has always been for the past 15 years. So as Liberians, we must begin to now look at that critically and make a decision. And Darius Dillon is a representation and embodiment of integrity. It's a good system for the people of Liberia to benefit. And so that is why we are asking diaspora Liberians, Liberia across, to vote Darius Dillon and bring it on so that we can be able to fund, so that we can be able to have a country.
What more Dillon? What more Dillon in the 15 counties?
Thank you. You are
vote for more Dillons.
Gentlemen, thank you. You are disrupting. Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for the debate tonight. And we are asking our viewers, who do you think won the debate tonight? Is it Team Fallah or Team Dillon? We want you to vote. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for the spirited debate. I know we try to do our best, and you can hear this only on Focus on Liberia. We want to encourage you, we want to have our team, we want to have Mr. Fallah and Mr. Dillon come right here on Focus on Liberia and have the same debate, and you share them. So please pass our message to them. We want them right here. So at this time, I will give you just 30 seconds to make your last comment. Not about any of them now, but just make your closing comment for 30 seconds. And just mention our political discourse, because what we have found is when you support one candidate, everything that candidate does is correct. Everything that the candidate does to you is law and gospel, and that's what we have seen so far in the Liberian politics. So as you conclude with your final statement, give me some commitment here that we're going to be fair and call a spade no matter whether we are for this candidate or that candidate. because in so doing, we are supporting one candidate, and that candidate is Liberia. So I'll give each of you 30 seconds to make your final words right here on Focus on Liberia as we close the debate tonight. Let's start with Team Dillon. No, Team Dillon started. So Team Fallah, 30 seconds each. You can unmute yourself and talk for 30 seconds.
All right. I mean, the conversation was healthy. I mean, every conversation that focuses on, what's good for the country, I think is productive, and I think we must treat it with all sincerity and fairness. And that's the reason why we believe that, Thomas is an embodiment of what is right with this country. Dillon is the direct opposite. And that's why I would say for the good of the country, for the trajectory, of economic prosperity and development, we believe that, get ready in December, move to the polls and just give Thomas an opportunity to serve you in the Liberian Senate. Thank you, Mr. Ja, for this opportunity. Thanks to Saki and Abraham on the other side. It was a healthy debate. Let's do this some other time, and let's for the country.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here tonight to talk about our politics, our country, our future. We've made the argument tonight for the winning side, of course, the Congress, the Coalition for Democratic Change, the candidate Thomas Fallah, and why he should be given the opportunity to lead Montserrado. We've also argued against why Senator Dillon is not a better fit for Montserrado, and you've seen it for yourself tonight. We've offered specifics, we've outlined projects, we've outlined a number of bills he proposed. The other side have been able to do nothing but blabber and talk about, and just throw around words, integrity and nothing more, nothing substantial, nothing tangible to show to the Liberian people. And so we urge you, seditions out there, to come your numbers and vote Thomas Fallah, and let's reclaim Montserrado, and let's support the proper agenda and President Weah.
Thank you. Team Fallah, Team Dillon.
First and foremost, let me say thank you so much for the platform. It's an opportunity to be here to discuss Liberia with my fellow Liberians, Gamane and Ato and Sasaki and the rest of the folk, the listening audience. It's a pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate it. Again, it's a choice that we have to make. It's a choice between evil and good. It's a choice between right and wrong. And so if Liberia must see a better future, if Liberia must get on the right trajectory and be able to stand among the competent nations and say, we are ready for the issue of governance in our country. And so we can take our people from the backwardness and abject poverty. It's the fact that it's only one man, and that man is Darius Dillon. He has proven a consistent integrity issue. He has proven that he stands for good, and he stands for the people, and he stands for Liberia. And so we call on every Liberian.
Thank you. Let's go to Saki.
Yeah, Mr. Ja and my colleagues there, thank you guys very much. It's been a very healthy debate. And I must say here, one of the ultimate goals of every man should be to be a good citizen. And being a good citizen is to understand your core duty. And that is which I see in Senator Darius Dillon. I heard my colleague talking about give Thomas Fallah a chance. He was given 15 years. What other chance do you need to continue enriching himself and continuing the purple agenda that just based on self-accumulation? And that's just unfortunate. That's why we have the light. The light and darkness do not coexist. And that's why they're fighting hard. They say Montserrado is their own. When you own something, you know how to take care of it. You take care of healthcare, you take care of education, you take care of common people, you address those needs. And those are the things that Darius Dillon stands for. People who have held Montserrado for 15 years, they say is their own. Montserrado is no more your own because you do not know the importance of human dignity. That's why you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I can't thank you enough. We are focused on Liberia. We are so happy that you came to join us. Someone is saying, will you come back after December 8th? Because we want to see who will eat their words and who will have the bragging right. Promise me you're coming back after December 8th.
Yeah, I'll be in Liberia for the induction. So yeah,
this is virtual. You can connect with us anytime.
We'll be in Liberia. We'll be there. I don't know maybe Dillon support us, but I will be in Liberia to campaign with people.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, after
you don't need to worry about us.
We want you to come back here and focus on Liberia so we can see who will eat their words. Okay, so gentlemen, thank you so much. We want to thank our viewers for watching. We want us to give the result. The result is not scientific, so we're gonna tabulate the result later. We had the polls to be able to send, but we had issues posting the polls because Facebook is refusing the link so that we could post the poll, the link to the poll, so that you could vote. So that you could vote, but that's not.
You mean actually all the Dillon vote are ordinary vote for that? Okay,
just post your comments and say who won, and we're going to look at that later. Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much, and we want to thank our viewers. Sorry we're not able to read your comment because it was a very fruitful debate. But we want to be having most of these debates so that we can sit down together and talk these things. There is too much of street talk, so we want people to come together and soberly analyze and argue and debate these points. That's very healthy for our democracy. Until then, my name is Dennis Jai, and I'm going to leave you with this song which says, "We are all Liberians."